Welcome to the Wager Makers Podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Brick by brick, baby. I'm freaking out, Webb.
I was told there'd be no man. Stupidity's going to be an asset. What a bunch of crybabies.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and this is Rob Weber. Say hey, Webb.
Hello. What's up, Smitt?
What up, Webb? I'm Smith, that's Webb, and we are the Wager Makers. Thank you all for listening. This is the Wager Maker Podcast. It's got a lot to talk about. We got picks today. NHL, drop the pucks. NBA, big news in the NBA today. College hoops going on right smack in the middle of the NFL playoffs. It's a great time to be a sports fan. It's a great time to be a gambler. If you're on the right side of the numbers, that's what we're here for. So we're speaking of numbers, Webb, baby. Wager Maker Podcast number 77 coming at you.
77, baby. Another one. I didn't have to look it up. We were just talking earlier. I knew there were some hockey guys. I knew Ray Bourque would be there. 77 for me. I got a couple favorites. Needless to say, they're going to be Cowboys. I may be able to sway you to one of them. One of his current Cowboy, Tyron Smith. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. The Cowboys drafted him at 19. I think he's been to the Pro Bowl 10 times out of 11 years or maybe 12 years. He's getting older, definitely getting banged up. And the second one, maybe I could sway you to a Jim Jeffcoat. I don't know if you remember him from back in the Cowboy heyday, but I don't know if you did know that he went to Mattawan High School. He's a Monmouth County boy, so I'm going to give it up to either one of those guys, whichever one you prefer. I'll leave it up to you, Smith.
True, I'm down with a Jersey guy. Mattawan or Keyport? I thought maybe
you're thinking of someone else. You're thinking of some other dude.
Okay, fair enough. Mattawan High School. Jeffcoat was one of the staples back when we were kids. But I want to leave. There's a Saints guy out there too, number 77. Not going to be in the Hall of Fame. None of that shit in the Hall of Fame. Saints and Kansas City Chiefs. Willie Roaf, one of the greatest offensive linemen.
He was 77?
Yeah, one of the greatest offensive linemen ever played a game. So
yes. Willie Roaf is good, but he's not as good as Jim Jeffcoat.
Is Jeffcoat Hall of Fame, or he's just Dallas Hall of Fame? He's Dallas Hall of Fame.
Not even. He's just from Jersey.
He's just from Jersey. And then Willie Roaf, I think 77. There was some great NHL guys. I think Ray Bourque and Coffey. Paul Coffey, I think.
You mentioned another one too. It's another
Pierre Turgeon. We're 77. Yeah. We do our research here.
Oh yeah, we have Google. We have Google.
But I'm going with Willie Roaf, and that one just kind of came to me. We didn't even in our pre-show thing.
Right. I know it's a pre-show breakdown.
It takes about 30 seconds, maybe. But I didn't even think of Willie Roaf.
A lot of time into this. Don't poo-poo it. Wait, Smith, I got one thing to say. I did crack a Miller Lite. We are not sponsored by Miller Lite, InBev, or anyone else. But you know what, Smith? We could be.
That's right. Tastes great.
For sale. Last filling, baby. I'll run through a fucking wall. I'll run through some fucking whatever you want to call it.
Right. So we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Just because it's breaking today, we're going to talk about the Spoiled Brat League for a little while and talk about Harden, missed training camp, comes in out of shape into camp. Bitches and moans for the first, what are they at? Probably 10 games into the season, a good portion of the season.
I don't even know
it's even a little bit shorter season this year. Yeah. So just enough to really screw over the Rockets.
Right, to put an 82-game season in a 72-game season down from 82 in a kind of a shitty spot, especially when he knows they're in a rebuild and they've been catering to this fucking asshole for how many years. They're on this is a dangerous time for the NBA. I mean, they need to, I sent this on a text earlier to you and Nick, they need to pray or bow at the gambling gods, because if there was no gambling, this league would be teetering on who gives a fuck, because it's literally a bunch of entitled assholes making an obscene amount of money and doing nothing but whining. Like, is there one? Maybe I'll give it up to LeBron James. Not one issue with him at all. Yep. There's more than him. I'll give you maybe another handful, but the vast majority and the entire look is just shabby and shitty. And they're turning off the vast majority of America, especially when it's a struggle now. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I tried to stick out for them. We were a proponent of them last year with the bubble. We wanted something to gamble on. They provided that. There's still whining, but control what's going on now in the NBA. Yeah, Kyrie Irving is, I don't even know what to say. It's beyond. It's almost like, is he mentally ill? Like, seriously.
I think it's the way it looks. And, you don't want to get caught up in somebody's perception in the media or whatever. But I mean, if you're no shower and then in your in the process of no showing, first of all, you got together with KD, right?
Right.
We're going to go to this spot. We're going to make a run. We're going to get us two together.
After leaving LeBron James. Like it was not good enough to play with LeBron. Nah, I can't do that. No way. And then, so then you orchestrated the move to Boston. That still wasn't good enough. That's still not good enough. Then you orchestrate this move to the Nets, and the whole thing with KD, who's another, can't stay off his phone, whatever. And now you don't play. Did you see the thing that he literally looked like he was on PCP or something? Smitt, it's to the point where he has me agreeing with Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
I am agreeing with Stephen A. Smith on the subject of Kyrie Irving.
Well, your buddy Stephen A. Smith came out the other day. Kyrie should retire.
Sure.
Why should he's retired now? He missed 5 games already.
Right. Out of like 7.
Right. And it says, well, he's got important stuff. He's at family birthday parties. And all this. And they get the team, him and KD. Listen, we're going to go there. Hey, we're going to we handpicked the coach,
yep.
Right? They certainly, if they didn't handpick him, they certainly had say in Nash going there.
He would not be the coach if they didn't fucking rubber stamp it or whatever.
Hand him anything you want.
Everything to get him there. It is sickening. Sickeninger and sickeninger as we move along. It is. I mean, I'm telling I'm gambling on it because it's something to gamble on. But it's not my first go-to, and the hockey's here now, and I don't know, man. Baseball will be right around the corner.
And we're not even really hockey guys.
Oh, I mean, I'm trying.
We're just tired of. We don't want to see the bullshit on TV anymore. This is rich people crybaby shit.
When's the last hockey guy you saw whine about some shit?
Kyrie Irving makes $34 million this year. He's on a 4-year guaranteed contract for $136.5 million.
Dude, they were signing the dude who brought COVID to the NBA. What's Rudy Gobert just signed for $200 million a couple weeks ago. Right. How about the other guy, George Hill, he's a lower level. He's out there whining, well, then we shouldn't play. Motherfucker, if you had a job, if you had to work for a living, you'd be scratching and crawling to get to work to get a paycheck.
Here you go, Webb. George Hill, right? Makes $8 million a year. Kid games for that's chump change. For
NBA, right.
And so the NBA missed a few games last week. I mean, they had a few games canceled for the COVID.
Okay, there's schedules set up for that.
Here's George Hill's quote. They can't tell me I have to stay in a room 24/7. If it's that serious, then maybe we shouldn't be playing. No one's going to be able to just cancel their whole life for this game. Dude, you understand everybody in America is doing that. You go to work and go home. That's it. Only they're making minimum wage to do it.
It's beyond clueless and entitled. It's not even beyond that. It's beyond that. There's healthcare workers there, whatever. Anyway, police, anybody, me, you, anybody. It's a fucking bartender, a waitress, anybody, scratching and crawling for nickels, begging for fucking the $300 extra money, but waiting for the stimulus.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? You should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed.
Right.
Everyone, right? Exactly. You go to work, you go home. That's what the entire.
Nobody else is doing anything
of America, not even America, the world. The vast majority, unless you're a douchebag, that's what you're doing.
Right. Only at your home, you got a fucking pool and a movie theater and a basketball fucking court and a bowling alley and a motherfucker.
Yeah, no doubt. Right.
You got everything you could possibly want at your home. You have a chef there cooking fucking food.
Don't bring food. Right. That's not touched by anyone. Right. Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yep. You need some women. You need some company. Fucking give them a fucking COVID test on the way. You got enough money to give the girls a COVID test on the way in.
Hire a doctor. I'm sure there's some doctors out there that need some work.
Right.
I mean, it's sickening, and I mean, even Nick said today, if we're going to talk about NBA, don't even include me on the chat. And he's right. I get it. Man, I grew up an NBA fan. I'm a basketball guy. We've all you and I both played, and it's hard. It's hard. Like we said, what hockey guy has ever Has there been one who said, I don't want to, maybe there's one last year. Maybe.
There probably is, but it's just not this
And
thing
they're not
hard. Man,
there's no one in the National Hockey League making $34 million.
is
Not one
anybody
guy.
besides Nets fans rooting for the Nets today?
I don't know that anybody. No, that's one thing. That was like my first thing. I have some notes. I did take a bunch of notes. First thing, couple things we agree on. The Nets are
Hate.
Right. That's a universal hatred across the board.
Right. For allowing this nonsense.
Right.
And Harden, what has the Houston Rockets ever done to you? They brought in different coaches. They brought in him. You can't say you didn't have play. You played with Chris Paul. You played with Westbrook. I think Dwight Howard was on the Rockets for a little time.
Right. Yep.
I mean, you can't say they've always brought in other guys to play with you.
They had the guy I forget. They had the rim protector. Then they let him go. He wanted him back. They brought him right back. I mean, it's never enough. Never.
It's a game where there's 5 people on the court. Look yourself in the mirror if you're not winning.
Right.
You know, it's always the other 4 dudes. You're never involved in losing.
What's the common denominator? Right. What's the common denominator? Yeah. Look at LeBron. Where's he go? What happened?
3 different dudes coming in and out all the fucking time. If your team sucks, even the best person can only do so much. In hoops,
look at LeBron.
You're all that. Yeah, LeBron hasn't played with the quality of talent that
LeBron won a championship in Cleveland, won a championship with whatever talent, then went to Miami. Again, we can debate whatever happened. Won a championship, then went to LA with a different group and won another championship. And he's not one we shouldn't play. I don't know what the fuck. This isn't good enough. There was some orchestrated, some moves, but again, 3 championships, 3 different styles of players, 3 different completely different lineups. Come on.
Right. I mean, it gets old. We made some fun about the bubble last year when guys were complaining about the bubble, but when you got these guys making even every dude's $8 million and be like, well, they can't just do this. You can't. Maybe we shouldn't play. Well, maybe you fucking shouldn't.
Right. Go ahead. You know what? My company's hiring. You want to come make $95,000 with me? Come on, let's do it. Let's see what happens. You got to wake up tomorrow at 7:30, and you got to work till 6 o'clock.
I'm tired of being. I feel like the old fucking crotchety fucking dude, man. They make these guys make you feel like the old crotchety.
Not because it's subsided. No,
nothing to root for except the jerseys on their backs. I root for the Pelicans. That's it.
Right. But no, you root for the name on the front, not the name on the back.
I'd be done. We're close to done with it anyway.
All right, but we root for the name on the front, not the back.
Right.
And you know what? Let's even let Kyrie Irving. You know what? The New Jersey, whatever, Brooklyn Nets. They'll be there. They were there last year. They played. They were better. They were much easier. Well, but bazillion times easier to root for last year than they are this year.
No expectations in that bubble, and they came and played hard every night.
Yeah, and they fought.
They don't even show up to the game. They don't even show up to the game.
Not even that. He don't even tell the motherfuckers he ain't showing up.
Right. Ask Steve Nash. What do you think about when you think Kyrie Irving's going to play again? Sure. What's he supposed to say? Yeah, I'd imagine he would.
He don't know. What's he going to say? No, there'll be a complete backlash.
I don't know what they paid it. He might get direct deposit. If he had to go pick up a hard check on every other Thursday, he'll probably be in that day.
Yep. It's absurd.
Personal time. I mean,
it's worse than, I mean, I tell you, they're teetering, especially if these other, the hockey is getting into it. The hockey did a great thing, but let's transition here to the hockey. They broke it down into 4 different divisions. Not only that, they sold Smitt. I don't know if we mentioned this last week. I think we did. There's 4 divisions, like the Nokia Bank. There's like a variety. Listen, they're trying. I give it up to them. Gary Bettman was another moron who came out the other day and said some shit like, we're going to lose $1 billion. No. There's a vast difference between not making X amount of money and losing money. Okay, you're not going to make a bazillion, whatever the number was, $1 billion. Maybe you'll make $1 million, $2 million. Your players are all going to get paid. Everything's the world will move on. Another moron who cannot. I don't know how these guys get these jobs. Like, just shut the fuck up and cash your check and let your teams play. Let whoever's running the clearly you're not running the operation. Whoever's ran your bubble or whatever it was last year, and doing it this year, let them do it. You just shut up. Yep. Sickens me.
But yeah, I mean, NHL and with that sponsorships for the divisions or whatever, they're thinking of different ways to make some money. Make it up for it somehow.
Just keep it afloat until we can get it back to normal. Why not? It's even better. It's going to make for some. Not only that, Smith, they're going to when they get to the final four or whatever it is. I kind of wrote it down here. They're going to reseed. Yes. So it's going to be crazy. Once it gets to that final four, it's going to be the two best. It's just going to make a class. It could be a classic Final Four for hockey this year.
Right.
And Smitt, by the way, I'm 1-0 in hockey bets. Had the over in the first period today.
1-0 today. That's good.
So far, it's not even. I got 823 on the computer here.
Georgia Bulldogs, I picked tonight. They're laying. It looks like they're laying an egg here in the second half. I was hoping they'd make a run. They got it to within 6. Not looking good. But anyway, hey, don't forget on Sports Watch Monitor, you can check out our picks every day, and they're on there for purchase. But if you look up and see our picks on there, and you just email us, and we'll give them to you. That's it. That's it. We're just looking for subscribers. Webb National Championship. We pegged it. We had Alabama covering the spread. What did the total ended up being? Because I think the number ended up being 76.
I think it was
that might have been right where it fell on.
74.5 was the final number that I saw.
So it did go over. It was close, that's for sure.
But, I mean, that was unbelievable showing by Alabama. Devontae Smith, in particular, right. And one half of football. It's
one half.
Scene. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, Mac Jones looked incredible. The O-line looked good. Najee Harris looked good. Even Waddle went out there, gutted it out, didn't have to play.
Made a couple big plays. I think a couple third down conversions.
Clearly limping. Even the backups like that they had a running back come in. I think a tight end, number 19, made some plays. Yeah. They do need some. I mean, they need to grow up a little bit on defense, obviously. But extremely impressed with Alabama, the whole thing, and. You know, and again, Saban is crotchety and bitches and moans, but you don't really hear. I mean, that's one game he didn't coach, right? I mean, they bowl you over. They do. You know, you hear Tim talk some shit, but it's not really bitching or moaning. It's more at the media than anything, not about the whole. You know,
and I think from one of the interviews I saw, Saban, he almost looked at this as just like one more challenge, like gave him a little more incentive to do something.
Like an 11th game,
crying about it, as opposed to crying about it all day. It just gave him one more, like, man, if you make it out of the COVID year, you're even that much. It's even that much more
better. You're that much stronger. Yep, exactly, and that's how it should be. I mean, that's how it needs to be looked at. It's an exceptional year. And you're just that much stronger if you can get through it. It has to be managed. That's plain and simple as that. If you don't manage it as well as your opponent, it's the same thing as you don't have a good, offensive attack or defensive attack. So,
right, it's part
kudos
of
to Alabama.
Just one more thing, like keeping you guys healthy, keeping them trained, lifting weights, whatever.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
But I thought Ohio State really played well. To be honest with you, I know that the score got away from it a little bit, but that game was close early. I thought Fields played well. For a while, I think, man, he really impressed me in the last couple against Clemson and the other night. I thought, until he got banged up real good, but it was bad at Ohio State. That number 8 running back, Sermon, I think it was, went out first series, so that really hurt them. And but I mean, they went toe to toe for a quarter and a half or so, and then just Alabama's offense is just unreal. They got a 3-headed monster in college. They have a 3-headed monster, and even when you're not with Najee Harris in the backfield, he can do it all. He would catch passes. He can run up the middle. He makes guys miss. He runs them over. Whatever the hell needs to do. Obviously, Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. A lot of times we see a guy win the Heisman, and then in the big game doesn't show up. This dude put up world numbers in a half. I think it was 3 touchdowns, 200 and something yards receiving. Mac Jones, Webb, his numbers are 36 of 46 for 464 with 5 touchdowns and no interceptions the other night. And he picked up a couple first downs with his legs.
I mean, I think that's the knock on him. He's a straight drop back guy. I mean, everything. I don't know too much about him. I watch the same broadcast as everybody else. I do a little bit more reading. It just seems like he's like the most like he looks himself in the mirror and understands what his limitations are, is not offended by being coached. And it's just, the dude played himself into some fucking money, man. I'm telling you. And I'm a fan of his. He's accurate as hell. He's a gamer. He that ankle was hurt. He got that dude you saw, he got stepped on or whatever. The dude, when he ran for that first down, he dove, he didn't slide. I've been a fan of his. He played himself with some major league money. He's accurate as hell. He threw a couple dimes, deep balls. He had Najee Harris on that one out to the left with Najee running in. So, that took some, a little bit of, off script type thing. So incredibly impressed. Offensive lineman, that center who came in at the end is going to be a pick.
That was an amazing story. He got blew out his knee in the playoff game, or maybe the week before that, or maybe maybe it was Florida, and just suited up, and he was able to go in for the last couple of kneel downs. They sent him in. That center.
Yep. That kid Barmore, whatever, the defensive tackle, played himself in the first round, no doubt. Woo! Wager Makers Express. Smitt. And there's one other player I'm forgetting. Maybe it's Najee. He can get in between the tackles outside. Leatherwood, I think, is the guy. Maybe his name is. I think he's the left tackle. Another guy, you're going to see his name called top 15.
Hadn't given up a sack in like 4 years or something. I saw some crazy stat about him the other day.
All of them. I mean, just so impressed. Fields, I'll give it up to him too. I really thought that thumb would bother him, even going back to the Clemson game. Definitely a gamer. Certainly played himself back into that number 2 pick, talk at least. He ain't making it till 10, but there's a difference between 10 and 2. I'm impressed. He even at the end, he was throwing balls, running, even though the game was out of reach there. The one guy I was really like, that dude Olave was supposed to be good, and he didn't do shit.
He didn't do much.
I definitely don't want to see his name called in the first round.
Some of the times when you're playing against Alabama, I think Patrick Surtain, who we know from younger years, his son is a cornerback on that team. Yeah. So you don't know, he might have just been on there shutting down, but that's when you got to show out. That's when you show the guys.
That's you're playing next. I mean, no doubt. You're supposed to be a first rounder. That's who you're going to be playing against. I mean, I'm hopeful. I got fingers, toes, legs crossed. Surtain falls to 10, man. I'd love to see him on the Cowboys. So, but that's what it's all about. That's who you're going to be playing against. I mean, the lights are on, and you kind of shuddered. So that's one guy I was unimpressed. But there's a linebacker, Browning, I think looked good. Even the running back, what's his Master something? The running back who came, he looked pretty good. And the dude, Sean Wade, I think looked pretty good. He'll see his name called. So it was good. Great game. It was just remarkable what was going on though with Alabama.
And just with Jones, I think I texted you at one point. I was like, Jones just doesn't miss. You got Alabama wide receivers, so you probably get more separation on a regular basis than some other teams might get with their receivers.
Right.
But Jones does not miss the dude, and he'll hit him. If he needs to put it right here, he puts it right there. It's pretty
even. I mean, what's his numbers? 26 to 36, I think you said. Whatever it was, but there was 3 or 4 where he just threw the ball into the ground when they were, when they blitzed and they were in his face, did the smart thing. So you could take 3 or 4 incompletions right off the hop there. So,
yep. So just impressive. The best team won. The best team won the COVID or no COVID.
All that shit
won the national championship this year. It wasn't really even close.
There's no asterisk or whatever. In the end, it all worked out totally fine, as it should have been.
And Texas and A&M can sit and complain all year.
They would have got blown the fuck out.
If you played them head to head, you should have beat them. That's it.
Yep. So. All right, Smith, that's going to give me something I got written down here. Another segue here. So, Urban Meyer looks like he may be going to the Jaguars. Okay. So, who was the head coach of Ohio State when Justin Fields transferred from Georgia, I believe, to Ohio State? Urban Meyer. Now, just interesting. What if Urban Meyer likes Justin Fields better than Trevor Lawrence? Is that possible? And then, for our good friend Nick Perrone, what does that mean for the Jets sitting at number 2?
Good question, Webb. Good question.
Yeah.
You have to ask Urban Meyer that, but I think still. Well, let me ask you this: Did Urban Meyer try and get long hair to come to Ohio State back in the day, coming out of high school?
I can only assume. It's Sunshine. Yeah, did he get Sunshine to try to come? I can only assume that. I mean, everybody, but he was from South. I believe he's from South Carolina. Just Trevor Lawrence. Just something to think about. I mean, this could really work out in the Jet. I doubt that would happen, but Urban Meyer may have his whole program down. And listen, Justin Fields looked good in my mind, in our mind. I feel like I can speak for you on this thing. Trevor Lawrence is head and shoulders, and then there's all the rest.
Right.
I don't know, but I just thought it was something interesting, just something for us, something that came to me that I thought would be interesting.
Right. Obviously, if the Jags do bring Urban Meyer in, he's pretty much, I would think he's going to set it up so he has pretty much ultimate say in who he gets to play there. But that being said, any GM that's in that position, and you want to take if he picks the kid from Clemson and it doesn't pan out, you got to be given a pass on that because nobody thinks otherwise. Now, if he does the opposite, then there's no, like if he takes Fields first and it doesn't pan out, then you're toast.
Well, certainly if you take Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence fucking is, I don't know, John Elway or Tom Brady, whoever.
If he's Andrew Luck. If he's Andrew Luck.
Right. And Justin Fields sucks. He's dead. You're dead. You're done.
Right. Well, that's do you really want to roll that coin? Like I say, if you pick the Clemson kid and it doesn't work out, everybody goes, well, everybody would take in him. I mean, that's just one of those things.
Right. Yep.
Right. So that's where the balls come in. That's where the balls come in.
But you're 100% correct. I mean, if you're going to hire Urban Meyer, you're giving him the keys to the car, the code to the whatever, to the mansion. It's his baby. You're just going to say, here you go, coach. Here's some money. I'm going to sit back and reap the rewards of being the smart guy for hiring you. So, and I would applaud that. I think that'd be the smartest decision. Just give him the keys and go.
Okay. So now we'll move on to part B of your question. So the Jets are sitting at number 2. So really they're going to have a choice between Fields and what the hell is I keep calling the Clemson guy. What the fuck?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence. So they're going to have a pick of one of those two regardless. Their decision has to be the same. Do you believe in Darnold? Do you stick with Darnold? Maybe take an offensive lineman. Maybe take Smith to let him run that. Like automatically, if you get Devontae Smith on your team, he's got to make Darnold better.
You're not taking him. They're not taking him. They're not taking him because you got some fucking throw the ball. I mean that's you're not doing that. I mean it's going to come down to maybe you trade the pick.
If you stick with Darnold and you take the wide receiver, then what do you do?
No, if you stick with Darnold, you're taking Penny, whatever his name, Sewell, the left tackle from Oregon. I would not hate it I'm not a Jet fan. I don't have anything invested in it. I would think you'd give him a shot. He was the 3 pick, Smitt, or the 2 pick, whatever he was. I mean, let's look at past drafts. Let's look at when was Trubisky picked. It's no guarantee, is my point. So I don't know if Justin Fields, all of a sudden you're now, in line with the Dolphins or whatever. But you can make your team immeasurably better. I think you could probably. I think the thing for the Jets to do either way is to trade down. You can even grab the kid from BYU or maybe even Fields down the line. Or somebody there. If you do want Devontae Smith, he'll be there at 4 or 5. I would think. That would be my unless you're in love. Unless Justin Fields comes in and you're like, this kid is special, whatever. Or I'll tell you right now. If that happens, you run to the podium. You cannot get there quicker. And fuck Sam Darnold. Whatever. Keep him. Get rid of him. Whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Fields is right up there with, I know Trevor Lawrence is 1A, period. Like number 1.
He's fun.
And it's not even like Fields is 1A. Fields is 2. It's Trevor Lawrence is head and shoulders above the rest of the class. But I thought Fields showed out pretty good.
That's undeniable for sure. But
he's better than Darnold. I think he's certainly better option than Darnold. A lot of it will have to do with who the Jets eventually pick as their head coach, obviously.
Of course. But that's good. You got to look at the team building type thing. And I don't know that taking, maybe if you can get something decent for Darnold, that may even make your decision there. If you can get a first rounder, then you definitely go with a QB, I think.
All right.
Another thing I wanted to mention, did you see, on our NFL picks, and when we start there, and then I can kind of segue.
You want to talk a little bit about the games from last week first?
Let's bring up. Now we're on these quarterbacks and everything. Well, and we're talking about the Jets. How about Deshaun Watson to the Jets?
Well, I think that would be a no-brainer for the Jets. Deshaun Watson to me, he is one of the top quarterbacks in the game. I know he hasn't had a lot around.
We know that we love him on the show here. But I'm just thinking. I get what you're saying. I totally understand that. But from the Texans' point of view, when and how good are you going to be, and how fast? Not real good and not real fast.
Right.
You first of all, the kid, you already infuriated the kid. That's first of all. Second of all, you're in salary cap hell for 2 years. So let's talk. We're going to start at 2023 more than likely. Of course, something can happen, but so now you're in salary cap hell. Not only that, I don't think you have a first round pick until 2023 because of ridiculous job that Dan O'Brien did when he got Laramie Tunsil that's why the Dolphins have, I think, the number 3 pick this year. So in my opinion, it's certainly worth it to get out from under that $156 million deal. If you can get the number 2 pick, you can literally just start over. And then your next move would be to get rid of J.J. Watt for something, so that you're out from under that number cap wise, and I'm sure you could recoup some picks. So now you have a quarterback and picks. I think it's at least worth discussing. And also, I mean, the big rumor is him going for Tua and a 3. And I think if you're the Houston, you would absolutely do that for sure.
Yeah, I see Houston's deal. I mean, they're just at this point, they're in such a blow up the whole thing mode that why keep that much money in one player, or him and JJ Watt, 2 play, whatever it is. It's time to just start from scratch. And you can get young quick in the NFL. If you can get probably a lot of draft picks for Watson. You get out from under a salary cap a little bit. I see where they're coming with that, because I don't see them getting better anytime soon.
Now, Smitt, listen, I mean, Deshaun Watson is young enough that they're gonna have to end up paying him again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So by the time you've shuffled that roster and it's churned, that you're going to be good again. This dude is going to be saying, "Listen, man,
3rd contract,
right? It's time for me to get. I want my $500 million." And now you already wasted the 156 you just gave him. So I don't know, man. If I'm a Texan, whatever owner or whatever it is, you got a disgruntled dude that is highly valued, and it's much more valuable to the franchise, the team, long term, to get rid of them for, a bounty. Of picks.
I see where they're coming from, but I'm looking at, like, I think he's interested. He said he's interested in going to Miami. If I'm Miami, I give up Tua in a heartbeat.
And the pick and the number. You have the 18th pick too.
Right. I mean, I can't think of too many young quarterbacks that I wouldn't be willing to give up for Deshaun Watson. Put it that way.
I mean, is there any quarterback you would give up for him? I mean, who's better than him? Certainly not Brady. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you're going to look at what, Russell Wilson did. You can't base him off one game, but he's up there. I mean, I don't know who I would take above. Definitely with his age. I don't know who's
right
better.
For where he's at in his career and how
Correct.
much years he has to go. Correct. And all that kind of thing. Obviously, there might be some veteran quarterbacks that are good, but we're talking about guys that build the rest of your franchise around for the next 5-8 years or something.
Absolutely. I might even, if I'm the Dolphins, I might even give him 2. I'll give you the 3 and the 18.
Sure. Because there's a lot of questions. We talked about that last week. There's still a lot of questions to be answered by Tua at this point.
Yep, agreed, for sure.
All right, so we'll talk a little bit about Saturdays and Sundays games. We did pretty good. 2-1. I believe we were 2-1-1, 2-1-2 on Saturday. We had the Colts plus the 7. We had under in the Colts game. That was a push. And we had Seattle and over Seattle. I think the over Seattle was a win and Seattle was a push, or vice versa.
Man, can we talk about Aaron Donald for a second? Dude, game wrecker. Game wrecker. Absolute animal, bro. Crazy.
So, and he's going to have a big work cut out for him. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers knows he's coming to town this weekend.
Well, he's got ribs. He's got a rib or something, don't he?
I think they're planning on having him play.
But that's the first thing I checked. I made sure I checked that.
And then at the night game, I think we pushed again. I think we had Washington was plus 8, I believe. I think that's what the number ended up being, if I'm not mistaken. And dude, this kid Heineke came out of nowhere, played a pretty darn good game. I thought a lot of people thought it was going to be kind of a blowout. We took the points in that game. A lot of people, I think, thought it was going to be a blowout. Washington kind of hung tough for a while. This kid Heineke played pretty good. Old Dominion.
Yeah, Heineke looked good. I mean, he wasn't scared, I think, which is the first thing. That one player where he dove for that touchdown was balls. Yeah, I mean, we went the other way, but not based off of him. I thought the defense would have had a better game. But they showed tough, and I'll be honest, Smitt, in terms of the NFC East, what's going on with the ridiculous Eagles, the Giants. I don't care what any Giant fan says. You can keep that quarter. I hope you sign that quarterback to $100 million deal. Giants do not scare me. Eagles are in absolute disarray. So that's the team that if they get a quarterback, they'll be tough. They'll be tough.
And we certainly, Alex Smith got like that comeback player of the year. Certainly we were rooting for him this year. And Ron Rivera, we mentioned a few times, we're pretty much fans of his.
Absolutely. So. I mean, I'm loath to say anything good about any of those teams. But Smitt, did you see the whole thing with Tom Brady when he was mic'd up and what he went over to say to?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm here. Last thing that Tom Brady needs someone else to fucking jerk him off. But what a stud, man. He's like, dude, we're all rooting for you. I'm here. Anything you ever need, you're an inspiration. Like, how cool is that? Like, it's just crazy.
Class shit.
Right.
Class
like,
shit
just
right
real, like, just, not even about the game, but I just went out, you're an inspiration. Dude, that was just great. I was just, especially these days. We see this other bullshit going on with these other douchebags. And this dude is just all about, like, keeping people up. And, I don't know. It just struck me. And he didn't have to think like
about that much. I mean, he really, they said, he went over to him, said, man, we're just, so proud of you, what you did.
You said you're an inspiration to all of us. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what you've done, your work, inspired me. I'm here for you. Ever need it? I mean, that's just good shit. And we need more good shit.
Yep. I'm so fucking proud of you, bro. You're fucking unbelievable. You know that? You're a fucking inspiration to all of us. This is Tom Brady. Tom Brady tells you you're inspiration to him.
Right,
you're unbelievable. I'm always here if you need.
Yeah, crazy. He didn't have to do that shit. He sought him out.
Right. So kudos. And now Alex Smith says he's not sure if he's going to play again. We'll see how it turns out. He might have just to prove something to himself to get back.
Yeah, I mean, we're rooting for him. We're on record as that. I don't know. If I was him, I'd probably know what my decision would be. But good for him that he came back.
Okay, so then we had a pretty decent day. We ended up in one of the top area in the Sports Watch Monitor for, believe it or not, 2-1-2 was a pretty good day with handicappers for Saturday. And then we moved on to Sunday, and we actually took points in a few games.
What's going on? We took points in a wrong game. Certainly that stupid Monday night, that Sunday night, whatever. That was another. I thought that was like Alabama.
I couldn't believe, Webb. I turned it on. It was a long day of football, so I think I ran out and picked up something to eat or something, brought it home, and I probably missed the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. I was going to sit down. I'm like, all right, cool, sit down.
Settle in.
It was 14-0, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on here? And I think I texted you. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And within 5 more minutes, it was 28-0.
That was the thing. I'm like, yeah, it was a fluke. I mean, Pouncey threw the ball over his head, which is weird. And then I'm like, uh-oh. And then it just, it snowballed. So I mean, I'm not the biggest Roethlisberger fan, so I wasn't that upset about it. I was bad because we have it on Sports Wide, and I had a shit ton of money on I thought that was the game. I mean, they were seriously behind 8 ball. No Stefanski, they were missing a bunch of dudes for COVID.
Right. They're missing a coach, missing an offensive coordinator, offensive lineman, guys they pulled off the street.
Denzel Ward, I mean, he was a stud. Like, he was a number 3 pick in the draft or something like that. So it was crazy. And I still have no explanation for it. I don't think anybody does, but we'll see what happens this week.
So is Big Ben? You think Big Ben is done?
I mean, I don't know what I would, if I'm the Steelers, I don't know what his contract status is, but you don't really need. I mean, you could have done that shit with somebody else for a tenth of the price.
Right. I think what the Steelers need to do is look at their offensive philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really run the ball, right? They rely. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. They didn't run at all. You know what I mean? And if you're going to run that kind of offense, you don't do that. It's not a Big Ben Roethlisberger fucking kind of fucking offense.
I mean, back in the day, he would be throwing touchdown passes with dudes hanging off him. But they had AB and they had other dudes. I mean,
Well, I think he's got some. They got some good young wide receivers on that team. I think that Claypool.
Fucking. Yeah, Claypool. I like the other kid too from Oklahoma State. Maybe Washington is his name. He had a couple catches, but I'm not Juju Smith. Fuck him.
Right. Let him do
he should be in the NBA. He should be in the NBA.
Dance out on the outfield, out of the middle.
He should be in the NBA with all that bullshit.
And then we took the points with the Titans. They lost by 7. Kind of gave that. They up 10-0 in that game. They scored a field goal the rest of the day.
That one play, it was, again, I mean, a lot of those games kind of shifted on one play. It was a big momentum. And that, I think the Titans game, they had that game won. Excuse me, not the Titans, the Colts. And it wasn't that they went for it. That wasn't a bad decision. The play call sucked. That was the bad decision. But that didn't even hurt him. The thing that killed him was the offsides.
Yep.
I mean, if that dude just stands, everyone in the world knows. Like, I don't understand how this dude jumps. Everyone knows that they're just trying to draw you, dude. So,
and it seems to like for as long as this has been going on, it seems like 20 years ago we would look at each other and say, I don't know why they do that. It never fucking works.
It's crazy, right?
And now all of a sudden it works like half the time they do it. It's like, why don't they?
The time
to the point now where every time it's 4th and 3, I go, why don't they try and jump them off sides at least?
It worked, I think, twice on that day.
Right.
But not only that dude, it wasn't even like it wasn't like the nose tackle jump by the ball or something. This dude was in the backfield. Yeah, dude, that wasn't even like, what the fuck, man.
All right, then we take to the Bears game. We took the Bears, we took the points, went against my team.
Had a similar thing. I mean, the dude. First of all, let me just say, Trubisky did not look good, but that dude, I don't know, is Trubisky like Gisele Bundchen said? Does the quarterback hit him between the 8 and the 3, Smitt?
I think you broke up there. Tell him what Gisele Bundchen said again.
She's like, does Tommy have to catch it and throw it and catch it? I mean, it literally, the ball hit the dude in stride between the 8 and the 3. Like, I don't know it could not have been better.
Right.
And then the game changes. I mean, again, Trubisky didn't do anything really after that, but that changes the game.
Well, nothing worse than getting 10 points and having a dude drop a 50-yard touchdown in his hands.
Top 7.
That would have given like a 7-3 lead at that point or something. Would have gave maybe a lead at some point.
Yeah, now we're getting 17 all of a sudden. Yeah.
So, but I wanted to talk about something about
defense. Did look good, though. I'll give you that, Smitt.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We got a big game coming up this week. We get into the Tampa Bay game coming up, but there's something that happened. Okay, so they lost by 12, and the Bears scored a touchdown on the last play of the game. Now, our whole life growing up, it was a rule that you kick the extra point on the last play of the game, no matter what the score was, no matter what. Even if there was no time left on the clock, you had
like part of the play.
Right. And so now Jimmy Graham catches the ball, scores a touchdown, runs in the end zone. I'm waiting for them to come out, just go for 2. Maybe I can get the push on the 10 points. And nothing. They just ended the game. So I did a little research. So Sunday's wild card game between the Chicago Bears and Six was well in hand in the final seconds when the Bears were driving down the field. Then Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky hit Jimmy Graham with a 19-yard strike to end the contest. Despite scoring touchdowns, the game was over 21-9. That is 9 for the Bears instead of 10 because there was no extra point attempt following the Graham score. The reason for that is a 3-year-old rule which states that teams don't have to kick the extra point if a team has a lead of more than 2 points in the final play. That's it.
All right, so now let me ask you a question. They don't have, so can they? So let's say that Nagy says, "Yeah, I want to kick the fucking point." Then what? He can?
I don't know.
Right. And now, if that is true, what's to stop Nagy from jogging him out there and going for 2? Now he's wide open for saying he's gambling on the fucking game. How can you leave it up to the coach? There's either got to be you never kick it or you always kick it.
Right. Funny enough, though, the rule change came into effect after, if you remember, and now I remember this play distinctly, actually. The Vikings beat the Saints in the playoffs on a Hail Mary with no time. That play that he threw to Diggs and he caught on the sideline, and the Vikings ran down the sideline.
Yeah.
Right. And so everybody ran off the field. They had to like pull players out. I remember they even had to pull,
right.
they had to pull the kick. A kicker came out and played defense for the Saints on the play just to get the play off.
Gotcha,
Or something like
gotcha.
that. But for gamblers, that point's big. It used to be you could rely on it. You're down by 7 or whatever. You're like, oh, we know they're gonna, or whatever it would
At
be.
least okay, right. If you score a touchdown, you're gonna get it's 7. It's not 6.
7.
It's 7.
You're like, well, if you score here, they're definitely gonna kick the extra point anyway. So we'll get it.
Right. Yep.
So makes a big difference. That was right on the number for people, and people were wondering what the hell is going on. So, not to mention all the square pools out there that would go.
Right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So yeah, the Saints look good. They did what they had to do. I don't think they looked that great. They did what they had to do. Defense played good against a crappy offense, and the Bears' defense is good. The Saints did enough to get by offensively. Solid win. So what else we got? Want to get right into? We got obviously a whole slate of NFL picks coming up this week. NFL action to get some picks for you out here before we wrap things up today. So obviously getting down to it. We'll be down to the Final Four once this weekend's over. Webb. First game Saturday is the Rams and Packers. I got Packers by about 6.5.
I got 6.5. Smitt and 45.5.
5.5.
I'll let you lead. I'm still not decided on this one.
I don't know, man. The Packers have been good, and I have been kind of a non-believer in them all year. I don't think I ever really was on them much this whole year, except for I think there was one Monday night against the Falcons that they crushed the Falcons, I believe. But I haven't really been a believer in them. I know the Rams defense is good. I just have a hard time seeing them keep up with the Packers offense this time. I don't know. It just depends on. I really don't have a huge feel on this. It depends on the over and under. Might depend on the weather a little bit. That seems a little low. I think the Packers give up points. I think the Rams have been running the ball better lately in the last several weeks. I think they got that.
Ran well.
Akers is all of a sudden
Akers ran well.
Yeah, really good young running back that's got some explosion to him too. And so I don't know, man. What do you? I don't know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. They have Aaron Rodgers and they have Devontae Adams, and then on the other side you have Aaron Donald, right, and then you got Jalen Ramsey. So I don't know. I'm thinking. I mean, this one I think we have to wait a little bit just based on the injury report. It's either going to be. I don't know if there's too much of it. I would bet that McVay wants to go with what's his name, Wolford, over the other kid. Over, believe it or not, over
Golf. But I don't know. I think he left the game in a hospital.
He went to the hospital. Yeah.
Right.
6.5 is a number here. And then, we look at the total. I don't know what the Rams are going to do on offense. I mean, is Cooper Kupp playing? He's banged up too. I mean, that's huge for them. And what's his name? Robert Woods didn't do too much last game, I don't think. All right, let's go with we're going to go over to 45.5 just because it's so low.
And then we'll have to check the weather a little bit if it's like snowing out there in Green Bay or something stupid.
I'm going to lean. I mean, my lean is Green Bay to buy it to 6. 6 is not a big number to get to. That's the lean. And then we're going to buy it to over 45, which is, that's low in NFL.
So here's the deal. We're going to take Green Bay in the over. And I will be posting on Saturday morning our picks for the weekend for sure.
Right.
Just to double
get some more information. Right. If Aaron Donald isn't playing, that's a no-brainer. But the line the line is going to indicate that.
Right. Okay, now Webb, this is interesting. I think I don't know why the last couple of weeks you seemed a little down on the Bills, but we've also been down on the Ravens at times too. What do you think about this game? I have pretty strong feeling about this one.
I have personal feeling. I hate the fucking Ravens, so I'm not betting on the Ravens. So I'm taking the Bills. And I'm going to buy it to 2. I have 2.5 here and 150. I'm betting on the Bills. This is an easy one for me. I don't really have to handicap it because I do not like the Ravens. I am not a Lamar Jackson fan. If you spy him or do something, if he doesn't beat you with his legs, he cannot beat you. He can't do it. And he's already scared, like talking about it might be snowing. He's never played in the snow. Shut up, dude. Just shut up.
You run. All you do is run. All you're doing is running.
Throw the ball anyway, motherfucker. I'm all over the Bills on this one. This is pretty easy. I do think that he may make I mean, 50 points again is not the highest total. Bills can get to 4 scores. The Bills should get to 4 scores, I think. So I mean, I'm tempted to go with the over, but I'm on the Bills for sure.
I like the Bills too, and I'm leaning over. Like I say, the only things that we're going to be careful of is the weather. Sometimes
dude's already scared of the weather, so that doesn't. But to me, doesn't show he's going to be running. Listen, that one run he had was crazy, but the safety had a shot at him. Yes, he did beat the safety, but that was poor play by the safety. I'm not saying that it's easy at all, but that was a shabby play. And he stopped him there, and again, that game changes big time.
All right, so I'm cool with that. Green Bay in the over, Packers and Bills in the over. Cool. We got 4 plays on Saturday.
And I'm stronger on the over in the first one and the Bills in the second one.
All right. Right. Gotcha. All right. Moving on Sunday, the Browns, they kicked some butt on the Steelers, but they courtesy of 5 turnovers. What do you think?
Those two, the first one was a gift. I mean, that's undeniable. I don't know, Smith. I got 10 here and 57. I mean,
it's tough. The number's good. It's a good number. It's a good number.
I could see this going anyway. I don't know if the Browns are gonna, are they tapped out? Was that their Super Bowl?
Was that their Super Bowl? Was their Super Bowl last week or not?
Exercise those Pittsburgh Steelers demons. 57 is kind of high. I mean, that's a score high, maybe a field goal high. I don't know. I mean, at this point, you got gun to my head. I'd take the 10 points. I think.
All right. I mean, I'm fine with it. I ain't gonna say no.
I mean, Stefanski's back, right? Everyone's back. Even Denzel Ward is back. That's gonna help. Cornerback play. It's big. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's right on the number.
And that's a pretty high number. The chances are it might go over, but easily there could be a game where a team wins 30-10 or something. Kansas City could also win 30-10.
Even come out there and totally shit the bed and do nothing.
Right.
And then
so we'll just stay away from the total on that one. Take the Browns plus the points.
Maybe we get a back door if we have to.
Right. Okay, moving on. The Saints have beaten Tampa Bay twice this year, Webb. Beating Tom Brady 3 times, obviously going to be a difficult task. We love the over in this one. Is it fair to say that?
Yes. And then I'm on the Bucks. I'm getting points, and I'm getting it. Not only just forget who's playing who in any sports scenario. To beat a team 3 times in 1 year is rare and hard. So I'll take 3 points too with this one. And I get it. I mean, I hear you. But
right as the wager maker express comes through. I mean, I like this. I like the Saints at this number. But
I mean, the Saints are tough.
Saints have dominated. The Saints have dominated.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, let's stick with the over. It's fine. I'll do my own thing on the side. That's to me it's just and any. I mean, I would do it. Just with Carolina Duke.
I got you. I get what you're saying. What I mean? I'll tell you what. As a gambler, as a fundamental gambling play here, we'll take the Bucks plus 3.
Right. I mean, that's just they could lose the game by 3 and we're fine.
Just as a fundamental gambling play, that's what we're doing.
Right. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard.
All right, so we got 7 plays for the week. Green Bay over Packers, Bills over, Browns plus the 10, over Saints, and Bucks plus 3.
Correct.
All right. I think that's it for the week. That's episode number 77. Webb, I did a little work today. We should be popping up soon on Pandora and on Amazon podcasts, right. Just so everybody knows. In addition to TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. YouTube. Devin's going to tell you about YouTube right now. Please listen to her, what she says.
Hey guys, it's Devin. Make sure you subscribe to the Wager Makers podcast on YouTube, like all their videos, and click that bell so that you turn on your post notifications and you never miss another video.
Thank you, Devin. And check out Sports Watch Monitor. Thank you, John Grove, for the bumper music, and C. Reilly and Lil Saint the Goat. Thank you, George Burge and Will Burr Investigations. Thank you,
Thrive Sports.
Nick Perrone and MN3 Technologies. And also, don't forget Thrive Fantasy. They'll be having all kinds of fantasy playoff games coming up this week. Thrive Fantasy, and use Wager Makers as the promo code, and you'll get a matching amount. And you can do basketball, you can do playoff football, all that kind of stuff. Facebook at the Wager Makers Podcast, Twitter at the Wager Makers, Instagram at the Wager Makers, and email us, thewagermakers@gmail.com. Please tell some friends, man. It's time to blow this thing up, and we're still working right now. We're going to try and get this thing, have a live show here pretty soon, maybe before the playoffs are over. So thank you all. Webb, take us out.
Brick by brick, baby. Thanks everybody for listening. Yes, Smitt is right. It's time to take it to the next level. Please tell a friend. We're going to do some live shows. Smitt's working on that. Got a bunch of stuff going on. Next time we're going to get real digging deep on the NHL. We'll give you some picks for East, North, Central, and West winners, and also, we'll give you a Stanley Cup champ as well. That's it. Check out. That's on Sports Manager. We are hot on NCAA basketball, NBA. Our picks are hot and cold because we're it's a shit. They're assholes. So it is what it is. This will be a winning weekend, though. Thanks for listening, everybody. Brick by brick.
Welcome to the Wager Makers Podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Wager Maker Podcast.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah.
Here comes the Wager Maker
Here I go.
Express.
I hear y'all sick of losing money cause y'all don't know how to bet. Better hit that Wager Maker Podcast with Smitt and Webb. They gon' show y'all how to do this. Take these notes like y'all some students. Y'all can't seem to pick them right? Well, tonight y'all lucky night. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. Wager Maker Podcast. Wager Maker Podcast. Your bookie getting sick cause we built this brick by brick. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. It's that Wager Maker Podcast. Come and place your bets with that WM Express. Let's go.